How's it going, everybody? John with you again, and here are a selection of my academy kits. Higgledy piggledy everywhere, different size scales and everything else. So, give me a second. I'm just going to kind of clear everything away, and we'll look at them one by one. We'll start with the small ones, and we'll work our way up to the big ones. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get started. Right. Now, I got my parking attendant in, and he's after moving everything to the side, so we're just here left with the small ones. So we start off with the small ones. We start off with the really small ones first. We start off with some of the vehicles. Now, these three vehicles came in a set, and they were actually sent to me by my good friend Joe's Model Kits, Joe Bentley. He sent me these because I was doing a group build, a SIG group build on the ISM forum for Stuka JU72, and I did quite a large die-off for that of an airfield and things like that, and I kind of put an ASCO because I couldn't find a Kubel wagon. And Joe said, I got a Kubel wagon, I'll send you a Kubel wagon. So I said, great stuff, Joe, thank you very much. So Joe didn't send me a Kubel wagon, he sent me the box, and there was three little vehicles inside in it. There was a Kubel wagon, the Kettengrad, and a little Willys Jeep. What can you say about them? They were fabulous little kits, fabulous little things all together. They really, really are. Only for the fact that I can barely flip and see them. They're tiny, absolutely tiny. They fell together really. Very enjoyable to make. Very, very enjoyable little kits. Fiddly, yep. Tiny, yep. Enjoyable, yep. So that's all you can say about them. They're quite nicely detailed as well when you think of it. For the size. I've seen 172 kits or 135 kits not as detailed as these. Nice detail on the bottom there. I can get a bit of a nice job on them. Even if I do say so myself. And I really, really enjoyed this little Jeep. It turned out absolutely fabulous, lovely little Jeep. So we'll put them to the back there because otherwise it only gets squished by the big armour. Yeah, those are the three. They were, like I said, they were for the Stuka build. There's the Stuka itself. I'm not a wingy thing person, as you will know. I don't really go for the wingy things, but I did. I ventured in, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I found that I don't like the wingy things. The underside of it, I'm quite happy with how it came out. Really am happy with how it came out. It showed up quite nice. The bit of the weathering and stuff. Learned a lot regarding doing the canopies and things, mistakes that I've made, and rectified, and learned how to do things, and rigging, learned how to do that, because there's the first one I did, the first of the wingy things, and I did that little Corsair while waiting to get this started. I had this purchased, I had about a week or 2 weeks to wait before the start of the group build. And in the meantime, I bought that one, and then I said I'd give that one a test go just to see do I like the wingy things. And halfway through doing that one, I realised I like the wingy things, but I'd already got this one purchased, and I said I'd enter, so I entered it anyway. This little Corsair, it ended up grand. I mean, I can't really fault it. It's just that I didn't enjoy making it. Simple as that. I just didn't enjoy it. I learned a few things from it. I learned about masking. I masked it off and stuff with Tamiya tape and stuff. Learned how to do the rigging, even though on this one it is absolute shite, if you excuse my vernaculars. But I learned, that's not the way to do it. You learn something. The wheel has already fallen off. This thing has had a couple of accidents, but it's one of those things that you get and you say that's a learning curve, and this was definitely a learning curve. Fit wise, I had no problems. Everything fit together swimmingly, as it's supposed to. It did exactly what I said in the book. It was quite enjoyable to make. So that's the 172 stuff out of the way. Let's get into the 135, which is the 135 armour, which is my forte, as we'll say. It's what I enjoy making. My first one I did was this. I did the M3 Lee. What can I say about this kit? This is a fabulous little kit. It really, really is. I hand painted this. So by hand painting it, you're adding layers onto here, and so it's such a snug fit that you know it didn't sort of fit too well. But like I said, I know that was my fault, and I know it was down to the hand painting. It comes with a lovely interior, quite extensive interior, which is why I left the door open so you can see into it. From the driver's compartment, the driver's seat, his controls, his clocks, everything is there. Little twin machine guns, the radio, the breech and all that for this gun here. More radios or whatever they bloody well are. I haven't the faintest idea. Fire extinguishers, loads of little shells which were all individually had to be put in. The stowage I made myself. My first venture into milliput. Yeah, it's not the best, but it was definitely a learning curve. This whole kit was definitely a learning curve, and this is what got me back into it. And I said to myself, yeah, I'm enjoying this, and this is what it's all about. As you can see, bad fit here. I know. Well, I don't know, but I'm guessing that was me, if you know what I mean. I don't think it was a problem of the actual kit itself, because I've seen a couple of people making this sense, and they came up sort of grand with it, so therefore it definitely was me. The suspension works away nicely. You can pose it into different positions. Look at that, look, with the rubber tracks and things like that. So if you're posing it over something, and it's not an expensive kit. It is not expensive at all for a kit with a full interior. Even inside in the basket, it's got all the little bits and pieces inside there. When we get some light in there, you can see, and from the seats down to the spare shells, all that kind of stuff. It's in there. It's nice. It really is. It's a lovely little kit. And it's not expensive. It is not an expensive kit at all. I know a couple of people that have done it, and they came up with quite a nice kit. Enjoyable to make, and like I said, with the fit issues, as far as I know, these fit problems were down to me not properly cleaning off things and stuff like that. But it is what it is, as Switcher would say. And it was an enjoyable kit to make, and it's what got me back into the hobby. It definitely was. It wasn't the very, very first one I did. The very, very first one I did was actually another Academy kit. Well, when I say the very, very first one, the first one when I got back into the hobby was the Academy Tiger 1. But unfortunately, that's built into a dia over there. It's a Tiger 1, and I have it all burnt out and destroyed. And it was a lovely kit. It really, really was. It was a very, very nice kit. The only problems I had with that one were the exhausts at the back. There was, if you know the exhaust in the back of the Tiger 1, they've got you got the little stacks. On top of the stacks, you've got 5 sort of pins and the little round covers. With the Academy one, those 5 pins were 5 individual little pins. They were a feckin' nightmare, really, really were. Since then, I've done a Zvezda one, which came with all those things as one piece, and it was brilliant. It really was. It was fell together. But the Academy one, that was the only thing I can fault that kit on, was those 5 little pins that were a bloody nightmare. Realised afterwards I could have drilled out the holes a little bit more and put them in like that. But learning curves. You start from somewhere and you move on, and but you can't fault this one. Look at that, for working suspension and everything else for a cheap kit, and it was a cheap kit. I can't say it was anything bad about it. I know I got a bad problem here, fit problem there, but like I said, I'm 100% convinced that was my fault, not the fault of the kit. Right, moving on, we've got a Penza 4. Now this is a kind of a pretty red overall. This was in a dia that I did with a destroyed house. and all that reddish stuff is to represent the crushed brick and all that kind of stuff, because it would have got everywhere, and it fitted in nicely with the dial, but when you take it away from it, it's very reddish looking. It's got the 3-tone camo. Very, very enjoyable kit to make. Really was. No, not a slightest problem with fit issues. It was. It literally fell together. It really did. As you see, it's got the rubber tracks, and at the time I didn't really know how to put the rubber tracks together properly. I just thought it was just a case of stick them together and glue them, and that was it, or pin the hole, in through the holes. It worked out, and people have told me and other things since that you make the hole a little bit bigger, you make sure it fits tightly, and you do your melting then, rather than trying to do it straight from the box. But like I've said, these ones that I did earlier, over a year ago, there were learning curves, and I was getting back into the hobby, and I was just kind of rushing to get as many, I kind of, what we call it now, a rush of shit to the head, and just get as many done, and like a production factory, get them out. And I went through and did loads. I did loads of them over a small period of time. Enjoyable to make, yes. Fit issues, no. Well worth the money. Academy kits are not expensive. They're around sort of the same prices as Tamiya kits, and fit wise, with 80% of them, 90% of them, there's no fit problems. Really, no fit problems. I have had one Academy kit, I'll get onto that in a minute, that I wasn't so chuffed with, and I didn't like at all, and I had major fit problems, and took a lot of hacking and this, that and the other, and found out since it wasn't me. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. This Penza 4, it's the Penza 4 HJ is the kit, and it's nice. It really is. It fits together nicely. Detail, most of it is already pre-molded on for you. You don't have to put in the hatches as separate pieces. They're big chunky things. So it's not it's not what you call a dragon kit. Dragon kits, to me, to a certain degree, they're for people who enjoy the build, and lots of it, it's unnecessary, to be quite honest with you, and you're paying for loads of plastic that you're not end up using. But that's another discussion for another day. We're talking about Academy kits now, and with these, they're great. They really are great. I put them up there with Tamiya's, and they're enjoyable. They are. Then again, even the cheap kits, some of the really, really cheap kits, the Zvezdas are very good. I love the Zvezdas. We've got a Stug 4. Another enjoyable kit. It's practically, it's the same base as that, obviously. Being the Penza 4, is the Stug 4, which is based on the same chassis as the Penza 4. So all this section down here is the same. Very enjoyable to make. No fit issues, no problems with it at all. This is one where I start doing the hacking in, cutting into the mud guards and stuff, and breaking them off, and I started playing around with damaging, shall I say, and I really enjoyed it. I really, really did. Wired in the headphones and all for the chat here, so got over excited with that. Fit wise with this one, everything fit perfectly, absolutely perfectly. This thing literally fell together. Another great kit. It's the Stug 4. Stug 4. Moved on from there, we've got a King Tiger. Right. I had a little bit of a learning curve problem with this one. I wouldn't say problem. A learning curve thing. I learned. This was definitely learned something from this one. This is a lovely kit. It really, really is. Very nicely detailed. Loads of nice parts in it. It's got photo etch. And it's got link and length tracks. And that's where my problem was with the link and length tracks. I didn't fit them properly. As you can see here, there's here at the front. There's quite a big gap there, but it's supposed to be in around the. I know, yeah. Um, I covered it up with mud and things like that, and it fitted into the road. Nobody really noticed it. It's only when I pointed out to people that people actually know. Oh right, I see you kind of fucked up there in the front, John. But that was definitely that's me. That without shadow of a doubt, that's me. That's not a fish issue problem. That's me learning how to do the Lincoln length tracks, which I've done since. And we have to learn somewhere. We all start somewhere. And that was my first time doing my own tow rope on that one, as you can see. With this one, I didn't use the picture frame. I got the 3 strands of wire, wound them up, made a little jig for winding them all up and things, and they came out nice. It came out very, very nice. And I used the aerial, the guitar string aerial, and like I said, it's got photo etch and stuff like that. So that was another great kit to make. Very enjoyable, no fit problems, no fit issues, and it's not expensive either. And as you can see, that was hand painted, so that was back in the early days. Yeah, I'd like to do this one again and do a nicer job of it, just to show, just for myself, just to see the progression. You know, same with this one here. I'm definitely going to do that one again, and by using the airbrush and spraying on the inside and things like that, it's just going to it's going to be nicer. Um, we all look back on some of the early ones and we cringe. I don't. I look back in the early ones and say, well, yeah, well, I can do better than that now, and I can see where I went wrong. I can see how I've improved, and that's what it's all about. It's a hobby. It's there to enjoy, and a learning thing, and enjoy the learning, and enjoy the building and the painting and the whole shebang. Right, we got this one, which is Megach 6, 6B Galbatash Israeli tank, which is based on the M60, to the best of my knowledge. Yes, the M60 American tank, and they've added on extra things onto the turret. They changed out the shooty thing, and added a few more bits and pieces inside. I think they changed the engines as well in these yucks. I really, really, really enjoyed making this. If you look at the texture on the turret and on the front, I used a stuff called liquid green stuff on this. I ended up even doing a video on liquid green stuff because I was so impressed with it, on getting that texture, that that anti-slip texture. It just stippled on when it dried, and then painted over it. It was lovely. It really was. Fit wise, and this fell together. It really did. One side problem with the fit issue in that was on the basket at the back. For some reason, I couldn't get it. I think I should have mounted it maybe slightly higher, because when you turn the turret, which is quite actually hard to turn because of the fact that I'd say I mounted it too low, to be honest with you, and it gets caught and God knows what else. So it doesn't move freely, shall we say. But apart from that, it's an excellent kit. It really, really is. Very enjoyable kit, and a very nice looking kit. Very nice looking tank indeed. The Israeli 6 Megach. I don't speak Yiddish, so I haven't the faintest idea. Alright, we've got the last one. The last one I've got to show you. This is my Pant Mule, so you have to excuse the state of it. I've used this so many times for different paint techniques and different God knows what else, and trying out pastels for weathering, mud techniques, the splatter technique, as you can see in that, and loads of different things. I use it for that purely because I think this kit is a heap of shit. Well, I thought so when I was building it. Nothing seemed to want to fit. I ended up having to hack in here and hack in there for it to go together. Nothing wanted to go right in it, and I thought it was just me until I saw Beasley did this as well. He did this one for the Gulf War Group build, and this is the one with the decal, the War Pigs decal, as opposed to any other of the Academy M1s. I don't know how they are. I can only talk about this one. and I did not like it. I did not like it at all. It just, it was, it was just horrible. It really, really was. The that top piece was all kind of warped. Now that could have been in in stowage problems and things like that, but even taking that into account, the side skirts didn't want to fit properly on the turret. At the back of the turret, it didn't want to fit. I had to hack into it. Um, for a finish, I got it all together nicely for a finish. But I was never really happy with it, if you know what I mean. Because I had to do so much hacking and stuff, I was never really happy with it. So since then, I've used it as my paint mule. It was originally done in the desert colours, and then I painted it in the NATO camouflage colours. Wasn't happy with that because I put too much black in it and stuff. But as a paint mule, it works. I've tried different techniques, different rusting techniques and things like that, and it's handy to develop different ideas. We all need. It's a good idea to have yourself an old kit there that you can play around with and try out different things just to see how they work. As you see, that's all been cleaned off again, ready to go again for another experiment, whatever I want to try out, be it a different colour or whatever. Any more different techniques or different products that I want to try and play around with. I use them in that, and it's got quite some abuse over the last year or two. It's got shall we say, it's changed appearance quite a few times. So anyway, that's my overall on the Academy kits. In general, they're very good. They're very, very good. Price wise, they're around the same as the Tamiyas. Fit wise, like I said, 80% of them are grand. You will get the odd kit, but then again, as I found, and as you will find yourself, that the odd Tamiya kit, not every Tamiya kit is a shake and bake. Not every Tamiya kit is perfect fit. They are what they are. You get what you get out of them as much as you put into them. But overall, I enjoy them. I do enjoy the Academy kits, even though I haven't done one for a while. I think that was the Galbatash was the last one that I actually did. It's just that other kits have come up, and I found Zvezda and went on to the Zvezdas, and I still have a kind of a list of stuff that I'm going through, and I know that there's one or two Academy kits on my wish list. So anyway, lads, we leave it at that. That's how I'm getting on with my thing. So we'll zoom up. But when I say zoom, I'll move the camera up. Some very technical there. Zoom. There's more. It's a manual zoom. As in, I push the camera in or I pull the camera out. So there we go. That's John and his menagerie of Academy kits. So, and you can guess, I've quite a selection now at this point in time. So we leave it at that. Don't forget to give it the old thumbs up, lads. Give it a like if you want to. I'm telling you what to do, but give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and stay tuned for the next update on whatever I'm doing, lads. And enjoy yourself. Have a nice week, and just be nice to each other. And don't forget, go out and buy yourself a kit. Build it and enjoy it, because that's what it's there for. This is John signing off.